Hey, my name's Jared. This is David Schneider. We're here to do your tip of the week. And this week, David, so what we're going to talk about is how to go out. We're kind of in a cool time of the year to talk about this anyway. But let's talk about how, not just during the holiday season, but how during any week you as a manager, so you got a large team, but you still go out and produce at a high level. Let's talk about how you go out and consolidate your week where you compact so many appointments and into a single day or single 2 days. You're writing $5,000 to $10,000. How do we go out and do that? What's like the steps David does on a weekly basis to really like compact his week? Can you fill us in on that? And then I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions in regards to that.
Yeah, well, Jared, for me, married, 3 kids at home, it's all about time, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to me, preferably to get my week done early. Okay, so Monday's always a monster. That's my longest day, and get in the office early and get right to the dial session. And what I like to do is I'm dialing in the morning, really Monday through Thursday mostly, to set up the balance of my day. So from at least 9 till 11, we're banging phones and setting up for more of us at 3 to 8 o'clock, whether it be in field or virtual appointment set.
Okay. So are you running the same day you're booking though?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I'm in virtually speaking, I'm booking in the morning for the same day. That's key.
Okay.
There. If it's a field week, I call it almost a luxury where I can dial in the morning, but I can book for the next couple of days. Okay. If that's how I'm setting up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, you will, like, when you go into dialing on Mondays, you'll book for your virtual, because you do both. You're running in-house and you're doing virtually, kind of whatever you need to do. Mm-hmm. But if you were going to book today, which coincidentally is Monday, you actually will book appointments for this afternoon, which is fine with you.
That's precisely what I did this morning.
Yeah. And do you feel like if you're running virtually, like that works out better for you, is booking them same day?
It's paramount, because your show rate's going to be exponentially higher if you can book for the same day. I realize sometimes that's not, people have conflicts, especially this time of the year.
Yeah.
But I will say this time of the year that you may struggle a little bit more to get in front of people, but if you can get in front of them, or when you get in front of them, you will have a higher closing percentage. That's for sure. They are buying now.
Well, the cool part is if someone's wants to learn more about virtual, Equus does the virtual sales call 10 a.m. every day, which is lights out. Like, definitely, check that out. Scott Rumber runs that. He's done a great job at it. So definitely check it out. I'd assume you check it out, and a bunch of your team does as well, right?
I do. Jared, I've been doing virtual since March of 2020. And I got to tell you, with their new system, I've actually tweaked what I do, and I find it to be very helpful. And a great funnel for new folks if they're looking doing virtual selling. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, definitely promote that. I definitely highly recommend that. It's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day. So you're going out, you consolidate your week, you try to book as many as you can virtually on the same day, which is your dial on Monday. And then you're running in the field maybe Tuesday, Wednesday tops. That's what you're doing.
Tops. Yeah.
For people who are really concerned, like, one of the things I remember this, I don't know if you remember this, David, but when I first started booking my week to consolidate my week and run it, like, try to be efficient with your week, I guess the right word, I always got fearful of like booking too close to each other. What's your recommendations on that for booking appointments? You book, are you every hour, every 45 minutes? What's kind of your guidelines?
Well, there's virtual, and then there's in the field. Okay. Yeah. Now, if I'm in the field now, and I know my routes well, I run two different counties. Yeah. So from there, I know how much time it takes me, and times of day to get to my appointment. So I try to book my appointments. I give it an hour minimal to an hour and a half between stops, because we're, knowing where I'm going, whether it's South Florida or Brevard County.
And you feel that's comfortable? An hour and a half is really the time frame that you run on. You feel that's comfortable?
Yeah. And, heaven forbid I have somebody that maybe forgot me, or we call it a no-show. I'll just take that time to make dials, or I'll go and do a door knock, which I have a PhD in. So
Yeah, you got it. What so how many, like, if you're booking appointments, so say you book today and you're going to book and actually run a field on Tuesday, how many appointments do you try to book on a Tuesday, for instance?
Well, if I'm going to devote a day in the field, I like to 5 to 6 if I'm in the field.
Five,
Is
six.
it, yeah, giving myself enough time and having enough wind to finish the day.
Do you
For
start?
me at my age. Okay.
Yeah. Do you start pretty early?
Yeah, if I'm in the field, I not that I'm a big morning guy, but listen, if I'm going to go out and run, I want to get I don't want to waste that day. So 9 o'clock in the morning till as late as I need to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so as many you book those 5 to 6 appointments, whatever it takes during that time frame. Do you typically find yourself door knocking? I mean, if you mentioned it, do you typically find yourself door knocking during that day as well?
Almost, it's unlikely that I don't have somebody that's going to be a no show, and I'm going to have, or even on my route that I booked that day, there might be that little gap in there where there's folks that you just can't get the phone, and or maybe they didn't see eye to eye with me when I was trying to get in front of them, so I'm just going to take the liberty and make that knock and maximize my day, maximize my time while I'm out there.
So always bring your leads with you so that you can door knock and dial in between.
110%, Jared. Listen, if I'm going to be away from my family, I'm going to maximize my time. I'm not going to sneak out and, take a 2-hour lunch break. I just, I want to, get a sandwich in and make money. That's it.
So let's jump back to virtual, because you said there's something a little bit different on how many appointments you run during the virtual. What tell us about that real quick?
Virtual, I'll book every half hour.
Okay.
In other words, I'll start at 3 and run till 8, and it'll be like a 3 to 3:30 window that I'll leave myself with the client, even though that's my first sit. It's easier to do, but you never know if one's run long, they run short. And of course, if I have no shows, which you're going to have a higher percentage of in the virtual world, I'm going to try to get 8 appointments. 6 to 8 is definitely the magic number, from like 3 to 8. And of course, 40% tends to be a no-show, and you should close at least 40% of the ones you do sit with. So,
have you tracked? I mean, listen, I like both styles. I think you should be versed at both styles of going in home or doing virtually. Do you have kind of statistics on when you're like, what's your virtual? You said 40% of everything you sit on virtual, you're closing. How about in houses? If you sit with somebody in house, what's your closing for in home?
Yeah, in-home closing is definitely higher. There's no doubt about it. Now, 5 years ago, my rates my percentage were definitely not as good as they are now. So I feel like if I sit with a family, I feel like I'm going to write an application.
Okay. So I mean, yeah. And so once you're getting good, once you get up and trained and running really well, you should be closing almost everything you're sitting in home. And for the people who are like going, hey, well, then why would you do virtual versus or vice versa? We're in a different world now where people want to have the options for both, right?
Yeah. I mean, Jared, I'm going to be 57 this month. And, and even when I started, I was 50, 51 doing this stuff, and I was traveling and, listen, I made a lot of money doing it. Okay. And it was just necessary evil for me to feed my family. Wife didn't have to work and race and still have time to be Mr. Mom. But in the virtual world, where time's such a big deal for me, I find it to be helpful to where it's not as stressful on my body, let's just say, being in the car. Yeah. But I would, take like a Chuck Knox, guy's a bull, 30, 31 years old, makes a truckload of money going out there and seeing folks. And I think that he can weather the storm, out there in the car more than me. That's why I'm attracted to the virtual world, even though I know I'm going to close more when I'm in the car.
Well, I mean, I think, dude, listen, you're in Florida. I think it's a good opportunity. I mean, I would say anybody, like during the summer times, it's a good opportunity here, because if you run into a hurricane around here, it gives you options to be able to sell out of state. I would say for the people up in the northern areas that have more blizzard styles right now during the winter time of the year, listen, it gives a lot of flexibility in every direction for storms, for anything of that measures. I mean, we have I know there's a manager who had COVID this week, and listen, he stayed home, was able to go out and run. Beautiful thing. It allows you flexibility to be able to do stuff without having to necessarily just have only one direction of getting on the field like it used to be, right?
Yeah, Jared, that's a huge point and well said, because, I remember driving all the way to Georgia when we got shut down with our last storm down here, which, thank God we had a nice year. But, in our industry, it's so wonderful where we can just literally call an audible and have really no reason not to sell, whether it's jumping in the car, driving, or in a plane, or again, on the screen, talking to people in different states, because you can. You know what I mean? And for me personally, as a builder, I find that the virtual selling is nice for me, because that's a big part of my world is, building a big organization. So that allows me more time with my assistant to get people on board doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, dude, listen, it just makes sense. That's it. It makes sense. So I love it. Well, I mean, listen, Dave, appreciate you getting on here. Tip of the week, how to go out there, set up your week properly, working virtual, working at home. But I mean, at this time of the year, it's critical to get out there fast, as fast as you can. Take advantage of all the extra gaps in time that we have, and take advantage of the people at homes. But I mean, I think going into 2022, take David's advice. Book up your weeks fast, run some virtual, run some in home, but make sure you do it and consolidate and try to run the same agenda as he is. So, Dave, thanks again, man. We appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you, Jared. Thanks for having me on, buddy.